Thanksgiving! Welcome to my kitchen. This is not a normal filming setup for me. I thought since it's, immoral and dangerous to have people over for Thanksgiving or to travel to large family gatherings for Thanksgiving, why not do Thanksgiving here online? I mean, Thanksgiving is made up anyway. Well, everything is made up. Money, gender, the story you were told about Thanksgiving. So why do we have to follow a structure? Let's do what we want. And I know what I want. Oh, my hair is being crazy. I know what I want in a Thanksgiving. And that is the promise of a sandwich made of leftovers. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving, so we're going to try to get most of our shopping done and do some things ahead of time that will make Thanksgiving Day better. You know that I didn't film this on real Thanksgiving. We can acknowledge this. I can break that illusion for you, right? Am I a trained chef? Have I ever made a cooking video before? Nope. But are we gonna do it? Yeah. So, I'm gonna go shop. I shopped! They didn't let me film in the store. Let's be real. Is this going to be my only grocery journey this Thanksgiving? Absolutely not. But my motto this Thanksgiving is allow for your extreme executive dysfunction. Allow for it. Be patient with it. Plan for it. And on that note, let's pack up my stuff. 2 days before Thanksgiving, what I'm gonna try to do is actually get the cranberry sauce element out of the way. I know some people are cranberry sauce out of the can purists. I love cranberry sauce out of the can. However, 2020 is a year of thinking about what you miss. And weirdly, 2 years ago, I found this tiny little jar of jam at Hudson and Charles in the West Village. And it was this clove hibiscus jam. And I gave it as gifts. I brought it to parties. I loved this jam. And I think the company doesn't exist anymore. So, since hibiscus is fairly tart and cloves are warming and autumnal, why not try to make a cranberry hibiscus clove jam with some raspberries? That sounds like it'll work. We'll see what happens. So I started by putting 12 ounces of cranberries and 12 ounces of raspberries into a pot with 2/3 a cup of sugar, 2/3 a cup of water, and the juice of half a lemon. Then I tied 5 tea bags together, just hibiscus tea, and nestled that little package in along with a teaspoon of ground cloves. And as always, you're going to want to make sure that you are salting just a little bit of kosher salt for anything, whether it's sweet or savory. In about 15 minutes, you take out the tea bag, squeeze out that moisture, don't burn yourself like I did. And you know it's done when the berries have burst and it's thick and it's a perfect little refrigerator jam. That's a word. So while the cranberries and raspberries were simmering away, I got some red onions and lemon juice and salt and created a quick pickle that will be definitely done in the next 2 days. And that will actually go on top of our green bean concoction because I am not doing 2 green vegetables and a salad like I normally am in charge of on Thanksgiving, but I still want the salad feeling, and I usually do a Greek salad. So I'm pickling some red onions instead of frying an onion or a shallot for a green bean casserole. We're not doing casserole. I don't do cream with green. Oh God. Nope, that wasn't a thing. Pickled onions are in the fridge, and my cranberry hibiscus raspberry jam is cooling, and I only think I have one minor burn from squeezing out the hibiscus tea bag into the hot liquid and inadvertently catapulting jam across my kitchen. So I'm gonna heal my burn, wait for my onions to pickle, And I'm actually gonna prep my leeks 2 days in advance. This might be crazy and it might be dumb, or it might be brilliant, because leeks are gross. Leeks, if you know nothing else about leeks, know that they are dirty. They are sandy, dirty little, just beautifully tasting things that we need for stuffing. So what you do is you cut them first, and then you get them in a bowl of water, and all the sediment will go to the bottom. And then you take the leeks out gently. You don't pour that water, because then you're just pouring the dirt back on them. Let's just do the things we hate, get them over with, and it makes life feel a lot easier, right? I took the dark parts of the leeks and some aromatics, any scraps will do, cover them in water, salt, pepper, and turmeric, and let that simmer for 3 hours to make a veggie stock that will be the basis of our gravy and our stuffing. Then I had to be a grown-up and clean my kitchen, because that's what adults do. So the cranberry sauce fills up a whole jar, and there's still some jam in the bottom of the pot. So let's try it. Oh, that's good. So this, because I don't do canning, this is not something that you're gonna be able to like preserve. I mean, you could. I'm not preserving it, so you just put it in the fridge. I'll keep it in the fridge for like a week, at least. I'm just gonna keep eating this. It's gonna be really good on a sandwich. Yep. The cranberry sauce and our stock is still going. Just kind of check on it. The liquid should reduce by like 1/3. All of my dishes are clean. My strainer is ready. My leeks are clean and prepped and wrapped in a paper towel in a container in the fridge. My onions are starting to pickle. I've got just a loaf of sourdough bread out on the counter because it's not tomorrow. I'm not taking out the bread to dry out for stuffing quite yet. I'm gonna probably rip it up and let it dry tomorrow in anticipation of Thanksgiving Day. So the day before Thanksgiving, make sure you've got bread ripped up and drying out so it really can soak up all of the custard, stock, egg thing that happens with stuffing. My house smells like soup, and I'm also making myself dinner for tonight, because remembering to eat is what? Fundamental. Yeah, so I don't think you need to see me doing the thing you do with stock. What's it called? Straining it. You don't need to see me straining stock. So I'm going to sign off for the night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Today is the day where we do anything that will be time-consuming or stressful for tomorrow. And making a dessert. Don't know what I'm making. I'm not very good at baking, so I'm winging it. We will see what happens. So first I tore up my sourdough bread. It's about a loaf, and letting it dry out during the day. And then I started making pie crust. I did the only pie crust recipe by Alison Roman in both her books. And that's gonna go in the fridge for 2 hours before baking the pie. And then I cleaned and stripped kale and cleaned and cut the butts off of my little Brussels sprouts. Then I made the dressing that's gonna go on the Brussels sprouts. So I wound up using 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, salt and pepper to taste, half a teaspoon of hot honey, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, a pinch of garlic salt, and a teaspoon of sugar. Then I seasoned my cast iron. My pie dough was almost ready. I sliced up apples and tossed them with lemon juice, salt, sugar, pumpkin pie spice, and brown sugar, and then I rolled out the pie dough. I need you to know that this was a struggle, and I know that whatever monstrosity I've made is going to be ugly and may not have structural integrity, but there's sesame seeds and it smells good. All right, y'all, our veggies are prepped. Our bread is drying. I'm still waiting for the final product on pie situation. What else did we do today? We did so much stuff. I will see you tomorrow, and we're gonna do the thing. Hey, it's Maddie from the past. Here's how the fugly little pie that couldn't turned out. It's only visibly exploded in like 2 spots. So look, nothing matters and time doesn't exist. So I'm having some pie the night before Thanksgiving. Okay, here we go. I mean, it's apples and butter and sugar. I think I might have overworked the crust. And the places I added sugar on the outside, like, had some nice caramelizing moments. It's almost a little shortbready. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Happy Thanksgiving! Let me be very clear that this pie is not great, but I also couldn't stop looking at the clock when I was waiting to eat it, and I've now had 2 slices and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. If you're not in the church of putting sesame seeds on the crust of your pies, you should convert now. Happy Thanksgiving! It's the day of the show, y'all. This is the time where we're bringing out our inner stage manager, and sometimes that means your inner stage manager has to bring out your inner forgetful actor, let's say. And by that I mean, I just got back from the grocery store on my Thanksgiving day, and today is the day that I brought home my turkey component. This is not something I would ordinarily advise, obviously, because if you're doing a whole bird, you're going to need time to brine it and also to thaw it. So lucky me, I get to thaw a bunch of turkey drumsticks at the last minute and hope it works out so I'm not making something that's bad. So once everything is the right temperature, I'm going to brine my turkey. I'm going to do anything that I can do ahead of time. I've designed this Thanksgiving menu in a way where everything will work on a sandwich and everything will work as leftovers on a sandwich. So really, there is no reason why things need to come out at the same time. There is no need for everything to be super hot. And I mean, look, if you're doing the right thing this year, you're spending Thanksgiving with people you live with, maybe people in your pod, but that's it. And for a lot of us, that means we're alone or with a roommate, and you don't need to worry about, you don't even need to do it on the same day. In fact, if you do Thanksgiving on a day that's not Thanksgiving, you won't have to compete with all the old people in the grocery store that you're supposed to stay away from anyway. So the morning of Thanksgiving looks like any sort of odds and ends we can do. Our gravy is not dependent on our turkey, which is great because this gravy is vegetarian, so most of my friends can have it. And it's simple, and I can get that away, and then once if I want to reheat it, I can reheat it later. Get that out of the way, and then prep some of the stuff I couldn't prep yesterday so that it's pretty much ready to pop in the oven when the time comes. I feel like Thanksgiving is like falling in love or falling asleep. Slowly and then all at once. What is that from? The next thing I wanted to do was make sure my potatoes were peeled and just hanging out in salty water, just covered in a covered pot where they're eventually going to get boiled for mash. I just discovered I don't have a vegetable peeler. I rarely use one, and I think the last time I used one was maybe at a nanny job, so maybe that's why my brain thought I had a vegetable peeler. I don't. So if you're like me, you can use a paring knife, and we're not a stranger to an improvisation. If you looked closely, you saw that I rolled out my pie dough with a sake bottle. Now that the potatoes are out of the way, I'm going to attack my orange vegetables. I'm not one of those people that puts marshmallows on food. I don't feel the need. Sweet potatoes are already sweet. And I also found some cute little honey nuts. If you don't know what a honey nut is, it's basically like an inbred tiny little butternut squash. They're very cute and they're teeny, and it's great because, I mean, it's only my roommate and me. I'm gonna do equal parts honey nut and sweet potato and just roast them up, get them nice, maybe throw some maple syrup on them if I feel like it.
nobody's going to be mad at that. I would eat that even if it wasn't Thanksgiving. Breaking news. My stuffing bread is not as dried out as I want it to be, so I'm gonna throw it in a low oven for a little bit. My potatoes are soaking in their little saltwater bath in a covered pot. My sweet potato and my honey nut squash are all chopped up in their little roasting place, covered in a paper towel, just hanging out. My stuffing bread got crisp after about 15 minutes in a low oven. Just kind of kept an eye on it. And the turkey is finally thawed. Thank God. It took about 2 hours for the turkey to thaw. I've also been cleaning my kitchen and singing the Chicks Wide Open Spaces album to myself in the meantime. I might have written a run of show. I wasn't lying about inner stage manager. So on my run of show, the turkey should be going in at 3 o'clock. So I'm just gonna put on about equal parts brown sugar and kosher salt and some black pepper. Nothing crazy. I want us to live in a world that divests from, first of all, divests from cis-het men, but also divests from dependence on turkey and Thanksgiving. It's fine. It's good. I like turkey sandwiches. But I'm never walking away from Thanksgiving the most wowed by the turkey. The turkey is just the turkey is the school uniform of Thanksgiving, and everything else is kind of like the fun jacket and shoes. I don't know. I never went to a school with a school uniform. I would have hated it. Turkey doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm just roasting turkey legs. I'm hoping they get some good color and that they will be good when I am done with today. And then tomorrow I will have fixins for a turkey sandwich. The process for gravy is super simple. You just start with a roux. I used 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, and whisk in the flour. You let it develop some color. Make sure that flour is cooked through. And then while that's all happening, you're also heating stock. Remember how we made veggie stock 2 days ago? 2 cups of veggie stock that are already heated up, and you whisk that in. You're gonna wanna keep whisking, and let it come to a boil. When it comes up to a boil, you take it down to a simmer so it starts to thicken. And once you're kind of on your way there, I'm gonna add some ground sage. I was supposed to get real sage today, and I got really anxious in the grocery store, and I couldn't find it, and I didn't want to ask for help, and I didn't want to get in people's way, so I just bought ground sage instead. But it should be fine. And a tablespoon of soy sauce. We season food in this house, and that's the bare minimum. I will not applaud you for the bare minimum. Okay, my turkey's brining, my sweet potatoes and orange honey nut squash are all ready to go. My regular potatoes are in their bath. My gravy is done and in its little container. My dishes are clean. I think it's time to start the stuffing. Actually, I think my first time making stuffing, I don't know that I've ever made it before. I'm just going to use those leeks we prepped the other day and some celery and herbs. I'm just leaning into the green to balance out the richness of all the sourdough bread and eggs and butter that are also in there that are going to be so good. So I think I'm going to hit it with a little bit of a Scarborough Fair herb situation. By Scarborough Fair, I obviously mean parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Then get the eggs and stock ready and get the bread soaking. We don't need to throw it in the oven right away, but we can get it hanging out. All right, so my leeks and my celery and herbs are cooked down enough. I don't need the celery to be mushy, but I do want the leeks cooked through, and I can smell the parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So the next thing I do is I've put all of my dried out bread into a bowl. So I'm going to transfer it. Is transferring it on camera this way the smartest way to do this? Maybe not. Hold on. Hold. Whoo! Whoa! Whole new world. This might be stupid too. Who knows? You can't even see what I'm doing. What if I do it this way? Cheat out, Louise. That's not the quote. Alright. And there's a ton of butter and oil at the bottom of this. And I'm also not mad at any moisture because all this bread is dry. And needs it. I didn't measure anything. So this could really not be the right proportions. For the viewers playing along at home, I did 3 leeks and one, oh, this is a bad gesture to do on camera. A whole thingy of celery. A heart of celery? I don't know words. But anyway, it's all in the bowl. Now we gotta mix it up. Whew. This year is weird, man. I hope that you are all staying safe. What am I doing? Am I like a comedian on a cruise ship? Making small talk? Jesus. I don't know. Do I like doing this? I'm not sure. I like the control of digital interactions almost more than I like preparing for the nervousness of in-person parties. Parties freak me out. That's actually why I learned how to cook. Is because if you're in the kitchen making something, people won't bug you, but they'll appreciate you. And that's like the perfect happy medium. Because I want to be left alone but also included. Just like I'll never be happy. Just kidding. I'm happy enough for 2020. I bathed today. That's the bar. I bathed. I'm making Thanksgiving. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm gonna let this hang out. And maybe I'll just compensate with more stock when I add stock and eggs to this. Because you're kind of basically making savory French toast in a way. Or savory bread pudding. It's like French toast is a moody sister. Oh, I got bread everywhere. Alright, this setup is cute. It was too well lasted. It was a nice talk we had. I'm gonna go get my shit together. Alright. So my eggs are whisked up. My bread and herbs and aromatics are hanging out. It's warm-ish but not hot, so I'm not worried about curdling the egg. And the stock that the egg is with is cold because it's from 2 days ago. Been hanging out in the fridge. I'm just gonna toss it around and let this hydrate. Thankfully, the cool thing about this year, the tiny consolation we get from this year is that if you want to try something you've never done before, like making stuffing with barely a recipe, not even, it's more of an idea, oh, I saw Alison Roman do this, but I'm not going to pay for a New York Times cooking subscription type of idea. Or maybe you have your own original thoughts. I just follow pretty women on food internet and do what they tell me. But yeah, you're not impressing anybody, and at the end of the day, will this be edible? Yeah. At any point, can I fix this? Yeah. Maybe my proportions aren't garbage, because this bread is starting to hydrate. I don't know if you can see. This might be okay. Look, I'm going to cover it in butter and bake it. Do I need a little more stock? I think 4 eggs is enough. Do I need more mustard? No. I don't want it to go mush. That's I'd still eat it. I think this is as good as we're getting. God, it looks gross. It doesn't look appetizing. I promise it smells very good. It smells herbaceous. It smells like Thanksgiving. It's really, Thanksgiving just smells like sage, thyme, and rosemary. Thanksgiving doesn't smell like turkey. Thanksgiving smells like butter and herbs. And I've got butter and herbs for days. Am I about to melt butter in a coffee cup in the microwave? Yep. This butter is going to go on the bottom of the pan that the stuffing's going to go in. I think our stuffing's been soaking long enough in the bowl. I'm going to turn it out into the vessel that it's going to bake in. Am I going to layer melted butter alternated with my stuffing mixture? Like it's a stuffing lasagna? So all my stuffing fits into my vessel, thank God. I really, you know what? I had doubts, but I think these proportions might work. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I'm gonna salt and pepper this and then throw more butter on top. So I buttered this, and I buttered it in a way that really lets you know that I want you to know that I had good grades in school. And much like this Thanksgiving and timing and everything you ever believed before March of 2020, none of it matters. How fun. Oh yeah, you gotta put foil on the stuffing because it's first gonna go in covered, and then we crank the heat later. We let it get crispy on top when the heat is higher. Yep. And that's been stuffing thoughts. Everything's kind of in a point of hanging out. So that means it's time to listen to music and clean up the kitchen so far because future you is gonna have to do all of it. If you've never spent a holiday or a birthday alone and tried to do something nice for yourself, the unfortunate part of doing something nice for yourself alone is you have to make the thing, you have to plan the thing, you receive the thing because you're giving it to yourself, but then you have to clean up after. All right, kitchen's clean. So I wasn't kidding when I said I had a show order. I, in fact, did color code things, and it looks like right now it is 2:42. At 3 o'clock, the turkey is gonna go in. Originally, I thought I was gonna cover it in foil, but I really want it to get like brown. Like, I want a cross between Thanksgiving and Renaissance Fair. That's what I want for this turkey. So turkey's gonna go in uncovered at 375 in 15 plus 3, 18 minutes. Whoo! We know math. We did it. And then a half hour later, the stuffing's gonna go in. Oh my god, I'm kind of on top of my shit. I'm gonna regret having said that. I'm gonna regret having said it. The potatoes are gonna take a while to come up because I was modest in my purchasing and cooking in other arenas. No, this is not a time for modesty with stuffing and mashed potatoes. This is what you came for, if you will. And I will. You know how they say a watched pot never boils? Well, an ignored pot of boiling potatoes is done. I just drained them, and I think what I'm gonna do is make my mashed potato cream mixture in the same pot while the potatoes themselves just hang out in the strainer unsupervised. I think they're old enough to handle this time on their own. So I'm gonna throw in some I have like every kind of dairy prepared for this. I just kind of do it with my heart. So there's heavy cream, sour cream, cream cheese, milk, butter. I think we'll be good. Maybe I'll throw in some garlic powder if I'm feeling crazy. Let's do it. Brick of cream cheese is going into my mashed potatoes and no one can stop me. Minor snag. I don't have a potato masher. If you're playing along at home, this is the third basic kitchen appliance, kitchen tool that I do not have. Number 1 was a rolling pin and I used a bottle of sake. Number 2 was a vegetable peeler and I used a paring knife. And this is number 3, a potato masher on Thanksgiving. So I think we're gonna just make do with like a wooden spoon and elbow grease and prayers. And this is gonna be messy and I'll see you on the other side. Mashing potatoes was the most exercise I've had in a while. Ooh, this light's bad. But now I'm going to be trying some of them for science and to see if I need to put in more elbow grease. Oh, those are really good. I need one more try for science. For science! Look, are they perfect? No, but I mashed them myself. And also if I reheat them, I can add a little more milk and continue to kind of agitate them because I kind of went from hammering to almost whipping. This gets the job done though. I'm not mad at it. I need to cover it and get it away from me because I'm gonna just eat them all. For science, I need to see if they need. No, they're good. All right, so the mashed potatoes are done. The turkey is in the oven and has been turned once. The stuffing is in the oven covered. I may not have a job, may not have a plan. I may not have a lot of hope, but I do have a bowl full of bacon. This bacon is going to get cooked down in my cast iron just on stovetop. I'm going to take it out and the bacon fat is going to stay in the cast iron and it's going to be my cooking fat for my tiny little Brussels sprouts and some chopped up apples. And yes, this is a pound of bacon that's going to hang out with a pound of Brussels sprouts and a pound of apples-ish. We'll see. I don't measure. It's time to fry up some bacon. Should I have split my bacon into batches? Should I have been patient? Yes and yes. Did I throw the full pound of bacon into my 12-inch cast iron skillet? Also yes. My piece of hope I'm giving myself is that, can you hear that? It probably is really loud in my mic, huh? I can throw the bacon in with the Brussels and the apples into the oven. So it doesn't have to be like fully done for this to work. I'm not gonna worry. I'm in control and I'm fine. I got this. See that pool of bacon fat? That's what we want. I tossed the Brussels and apples in the bacon fat. It was really hot and seemed kind of dangerous, so I didn't videotape that part. Oh yeah, and I brought out that handy dandy dressing I made. God, it's not pretty because it's mayonnaise and apple cider vinegar, but I'm gonna wait until the Brussels come out and dress this with it while they're cooling. Okay, so our stuffing is out for us to take off the foil. Ooh. Ooh, this smells good. Fun fact, when you are your own director of photography, editor, and the talent, stuff gets lost in the cracks. But let's recap. Turkey is in the oven. It's been turning. I've been trying to turn it every half an hour. The stuffing is in the oven. I've just uncovered it. I've just cranked the oven up to 425. It was at 375 for the last hour. The bacon was cooked on stovetop. Took the bacon out. Here's my bowl of bacon. I'm trying it for science. It's bacon. Then I had to rearrange my oven to make sure everything fit. So I've got a cast iron in there. I've got a sheet tray with turkey legs, and I've got a Copper Chef roasting pan with my stuffing. Let's take out our handy dandy show order. Everyone with stage manager energy does well on Thanksgiving. It's just a fact. So our next adventure is the orange vegetables that I'm somehow going to fit in this oven. I'm not sure how it's going to happen. Maybe I just wait until then to put the orange vegetables in, and while the turkey's resting, the orange vegetables can cook where the turkey drummies are. This is just the level of my insanity. I couldn't stop thinking about this all week. We're in the home stretch, folks. We're in the home stretch. Almost everything is done. Because I think orange vegetables have to happen, and then green bean kale moment happens at the very end because it's so quick, because I'm just doing it on the stovetop. This is good. I'm nailing it. I shouldn't say that. We'll see what happens. All right. I'm going to give the turkey, the stuffing, and the Brussels like 15 more minutes and check on them then, but they're looking good. They're just not quite the color I want them yet, but they're close. It's time to do green things. Thank God we prepped. Salad, but not salad. Green beans, but not green bean casserole. Let's go. So you're going to use those pickled onions that we made. They're going to go onto the heat. And then I put in pine nuts. This was a mistake. I should not have done this. But I made dressing anyway. Just added olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic, salt, shook it up. I never really measure things for dressings. I just kind of taste and go and eyeball it. So I've got the juice of like maybe 2 or 3 lemons and like maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic salt. And remember, this is that pink crazy liquid that the onions were pickling in, so I'm gonna try it for science. Well, that's nice. I might have nailed it. Yeah, this will be good. All right, gotta get back to my things. The green beans are going with the onions and pine nuts. And they're going to go for a little while. They're not going to turn mushy. You want them to stay a little bright. You want them to have a little bit of crunch. And there's the final product on the Brussels sprouts. And I just put the bacon on top. The green beans are going. The orange vegetables are finally in the oven. And I just put a little bit of that dressing we made yesterday onto the Brussels and bacon and apples. So, for science. Might need a little more salt. And an apple. Yeah, needs a little more salt. And I think I need a little more dressing. spice, yummy. You gotta add in your kale in batches, and then you're going to add dill, and my favorite, feta. Okay, so once again, the green beans are done, and so now for science. Hold on. I need a bite with feta because I don't want to oversalt it and then realize this salty brined cheese. Okay, I got feta, I got spinach. I got kale, I got green bean. Yeah, it definitely has a Greek salad vibe. It's really salty. It's not inedible, but it's very bright, very lemony. The pants are a little burnt. That's on me. What's on me? Weirdly, I think if I add a little more lemon juice, it'll calm down the salt a little bit. So I might do that. Here's everything I made. It's very not food styled, but there's the stuffing. The turkey is giving me Ren Fair vibes. I'm so happy. I think it's pretty. And there's my orange veg. My little honey nuts. And in the back, those jars are gravy and cranberry sauce. And oh my god, the bacon apple Brussels. Come on. And there's my very not food styled green beans that taste a lot better than they look. And all my potatoes. Should I just bite into the drumstick? Should I do it? I really hung out with the herbs. I got very, very brown. It's hard to tell in this light because it's shitty nighttime kitchen light. But, I'm gonna eat my Thanksgiving now. Here's the plate. And I'm just taking the turkey in my hand, apparently. Happy Thanksgiving! You know, we're working with what we've got. Sometimes you don't get to fly home to your family. Sometimes you don't get to mash potatoes with a potato masher. Sometimes you don't get to spend your traditions the way you thought you would. But sometimes that makes room for new traditions. And you can do this yourself. I'm not professional. I messed up a couple times. Like, are these pine nuts right? No, they're not. But they're fine. You can fix anything. You can get through it. I'm really hungry. I'm gonna go now. Bye. Because of the pandemic, I often eat alone in my bedroom. And I also don't like taking up space in our common spaces. Just because we kind of keep a little bit of a safe distance between us. I'm letting my roommate go grab some food. But this is not for science. Brussels sprouts got really caramelized. And there's like a sweetness you kind of find with it. The smokiness of the bacon and the sweet and sour aspects of the apple are really great. So the honey nuts and the sweet potatoes, you don't need marshmallows. These are so sweet. It's just maple syrup. It's so good. My feet hurt so bad. Let's try some mash. And the gravy is so savory. You don't need to make you don't need to use turkey drippings. You don't need to use meat-based stock. I'm gonna get some of this stuffing. The stuffing came out kind of crunchy, but I'm not mad at it. It's a little salty, but I'm not mad at it because it's stuffing. Let's try some of this cranberry sauce. I mean, I knew that was good. It's good contrasting the the saltiness of the stuffing. Speaking of salty and sour, let's do some greens. Yeah, it definitely has like the Greek salad feeling from the dill and the lemon. And I added some chili flake, and it has some like kind of subtle like back of the throat heat. That's very welcome. Like, look, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. And I'm mainly making things that I know later tonight when I get hungry again, or tomorrow when I want to put these on sandwich rolls, which I bought. These are gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna take all my herbs, or at least a good amount of my leftover herbs, throw them into mayonnaise. Stay tuned for the sandwich. Happy Thanksgiving.